Can you explain the mechanisms of these million-plus gallon sewage spills during heavy rains?
You know, there's this phrase or this terminology, I&I, inflow and infiltration. And if you remember what I was talking about with related to the sewer lines that were built back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, that vitrified clay, and I remember when I was talking about it, it's not a very tight fitting pipe, and it was the technology, the flavor back when gravity sewers were being installed back in the day. Today we've gotten more sophisticated. We use plastic pipe, PVC, HDPE with rubber gaskets. So if you go into newer communities, they have a very tight collection system. That's not an issue. But getting back to your question, so, you know, the earth can absorb rain, and it's a really neat balance. And as we talk about the Indian River Lagoon, I think anytime you talk about anything outside or in nature, there's always this balance. And so when we get 2-3 inches of rainfall, you know, that water perks down into the ground and somehow the earth absorbs it. But when we get into the rain conditions where we get those months, either, you know, and we can associate it with a pre or post hurricane, but for those of you that remember, Tropical Storm Faye was a really good example of that. And in 2005, there wasn't a hurricane, it was just a big rain cloud that hovered over Brevard County. And in the 48-hour or 24-hour window, we got, I believe, like 32, 34 inches of rain. You know, the ground can't absorb that. So what ends up happening is the ground becomes a giant sponge, and now when that water level gets to the level of those gravity, the collection system, now, and as I was explaining that, you know, it wasn't a tight system, that water gets into that collection system. So now you get into this situation, you know, whatever was designed for that pipe, it's obviously inundated at that, and obviously you get into a discharge. So that's really the source of that.